Hey, it is an unstoppable day. How you guys doing? Welcome to another episode of the Unstoppable Story Show. I'm Terrence, the Unstoppable Coach Leffridge, and I am your host. Thank you for coming. We welcome you to another episode. We love seeing you guys each and every week with the Unstoppable Story Show, where we talk to ordinary people with unstoppable stories. Thank you guys for coming in. Come on in, swipe and share. Come on in, like and share. We've got another great story coming to you as we are looking for our guests to come on into the room, having a little bit of a discrepancy with her logging in, but we are working on that in the background. Uh, so just that gives you an opportunity to come on in and get comfortable, get your favorite beverage, get your notepads, get your writing utensils because you know note takers are money makers. So we want to make sure that you get that opportunity to come on in, and I'm going to also check and make sure that you guys are coming in live across all the platforms. We are broadcasting live from Facebook as well as YouTube today. YouTube channel. So hopefully you will go ahead and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as our Unstoppable Stories Facebook channel. You know, we do this each and every week where we come and share unstoppable stories. And today is no different than that. These stories are meant to inspire you, these stories are meant to motivate you, these stories are meant to encourage you that if ordinary, everyday people like myself can overcome our trials and tribulations, then maybe, just maybe, by hearing our stories, you can too. And we've got another great story that we're going to be sharing with you today. And we hope that the show inspires you so much that you might want to think about becoming a sponsor or donating to the show. Definitely, these shows are not produced free of charge. So if you are moved by any of these stories, feel free to reach out and donate to the Unstoppable Story Show by going to our Cash app, which is just the $ Terrence Leftridge, or you can donate to us via Zelle by going directly to the phone number that you see scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We're going to be bringing that up throughout the course of the show. So you'll have every opportunity to donate and help other unstoppable stories come to light today. And also, we want you to stick and stay and watch to the very end of the broadcast because we're going to also be giving away. We're going to be giving away some actual apparel, unstoppable apparel. I don't know if you can see it right now because my name is on, but we've got this great I Am Unstoppable t shirt that we want to give away to one lucky viewer today who's viewing us live. So it is a 100% cotton with the I Am Unstoppable logo, which is the trademark for Unstoppable Coaching Services and the Unstoppable Story Show. So you'll either be able to get one of the t-shirts or you'll be able to get one of the beautiful I Am Unstoppable mugs. The I Am Unstoppable mugs, where you can drink your favorite beverage. I'm drinking my coffee. So stick and stay till the end. Make sure you are putting your information in the chat room. Let us know who you are, where you're watching us from, and if you got any questions or comments that you want to give to our guest today, then that will be absolutely great as well. So let me tag a couple of people, make sure that they are aware that we are live and on the air right now. And we're going to share it to some groups as well. Bada bing, bada boom. Do one, two more. And there we go. And so we will get started. Hey, thank you, Dr. Stanley Smiles, watching us all the way from Kenya right now. Thank you for watching us all the way over on the continent of Africa. Thank you for always being a supporter of the Unstoppable Story Show. And yes, it is a great initiative. Come on board, come on board. So, today, without further ado, we want to talk about what today's topic is. And today's topic is But God. But God and His grace stepped in. But God and His grace stepped in. And the story you're going to hear today is probably going to make you cry. The story you're going to hear today is definitely going to shock you. The story that you hear today, hopefully, you will see how tribulations turn into triumphs and you'll see the power of God in full effect. And before we bring our guest on, I just want to share with you one of the quotes that we're going to really focus on during our conversation today. And here's that quote. The quote is, if there's no mess, there's no message. And if there is no test, there is no testimony. And our guest has definitely been through some mess over the last couple of years that has tested her mental state, has tested her spiritual faith, and has tested her resilience. And I'm glad to say, as I've said many times on the Unstoppable Story Show with some of our guests, thank God they don't look like what they've been through. See, Maria has been through a lot in a short period of time. You know, COVID-19 wasn't the only thing that we didn't understand from a health situation in 2019. Maria had a couple of health challenges of her own that she didn't understand and couldn't get help from the professionals who practice medicine in figuring out just what the hell was going on. And because of that, she was in a state of confusion for a long time. She was in a state of anxiety for a long time. It affected everybody in her life, everyone in her family, and it affected her mental state of being. And she'll tell you at one point, because of what everything that was going on, she had gotten to the point of giving up on doctors, giving up on people. And yes, at one point, she even was ready to give up on God. But God and His grace stepped in. And we're going to let Maria tell you the rest of the story. So let's welcome to the stage this media marketing strategist, champion, and founder of the group One Love Nation 76. Welcome to the stage. Mic check. Maria Montalvo, how are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you so much for being on the Unstoppable Story Show today. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I made it. So, I made it.
Yes.
That's good. I got in the Word this morning, and I actually have my Bible right here.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I was reading the Word. I'm sorry, reading the Word and praising the Lord, and just getting myself ready because it's not about me. It's about the message. I struggled through it, but there's a blessing for people. At least one life is going to be changed, but I know there's
Absolutely.
a blessing in this for others.
Absolutely. And before we get into sharing that lesson and that blessing that's going to be for someone else, I want you to just take a moment. You know, I said you're a media marketer and a founder of One Love Nation 76, but let's take about 30 seconds and expound on it. Give you the opportunity to tell our audience who Maria is.
Oh, well, I'm a mother of four. I'm a grandmother of five. Um, I've always been like, as a child, I was very introverted. I would say introverted. I was always watching, observing, learning. I kind of was in my own little world. I loved people. I still love people, but I get a lot done on my own. And I have four beautiful kids. They're all grown. One's 29, so I'm forgetting their ages. Um, 29 or 23 to 29. Um, and I've had this entrepreneur spirit about me my whole life. I have journals, of things the ideas I've come up with, and things I've acted on. And the most important thing about me is I'm a child of God. I love the Lord, and I want that I want to exemplify the Lord in all that I do, His heart, His love for us in all that I do. And I'm a little go getter. I don't give up. I'm a fighter. It just anything else. I'm
That's more than enough, and a lot, and everything of what you said is definitely going to play. And I want people to remember what you said before you started to share your story, because that's going to be key for people to really remember as they hear your unstoppable story. And like I said before I brought you up, four grown kids, seven grandkids, and look at you. You look like you're 23 yourself. So thank
oh, thank you.
God you don't
Thank
look like what you've been through.
Yes, I remember. Well, in the Word, reading that, and beauty. He will make beauty from the ashes, but we will not look like we will not look like what we've been through. And sometimes I wake up still, and I'm like, oh, I look like I've been through it. But I definitely wouldn't be here. So um, I'm honored to have the hand of God on my life to such a degree that I've prospered from such an empty, lonely, dark place. It
Yes,
was definitely,
absolutely.
yeah.
And we have Joni DeCampley. She's in the comments saying Maria is a fighter and does not give up. Love this girl. And she's saying all that, and you haven't even shared your story yet. So just
That's my
wait, just
she's
wait.
my mentor. That's Joni from Boobalicious. Boobalicious. She's my mentor and friend. She's
Well,
been with
welcome,
me
welcome.
since Vegas. She's been with me. So
Okay.
thank
Well,
you, Joni.
welcome, Joni, and please go and share this with your circle of influence, because this is going to be a powerful story. As we have Arlene Collins Wilson joining us this morning from Illinois. Good morning, Arlene. Arlene, thank you guys for joining. So, you know what? We talked off camera about your story, and I know how even telling your story now still kind of really tears up and wells up on you. So I want you to feel comfortable to tell as much or as little about your story as possible. Because here on the Unstoppable Story Show, there's two sides to our show. We talk about what you went through so that people can understand where you are right now, so that they know that even though they may be going through some things,
Mhm.
there's another side. And if you have what it takes to get to the other side, you can have this smile on your face, just like Maria has on her face right now. So, Maria, let's start back in 2018 when everything was really, really working itself out for you. Tell us a little bit about what was happening to you in 2018, and then we'll talk about how your life literally shifted on a dime.
Okay. So I had raised all my kids. They were in and out of the house for years, but they had gone, their own way. And for the first time since I was 15, I was by myself. And I remember sitting, I had, got my first apartment by myself, and that was 3 years ago. And I was sitting outside and I was so lonely, and I thought, nobody knows who I am. Like, it just occurred to me, like, no one knows who I am or the gifts I have or like, just. And I saw something popped up on my phone one night. Damon John was going to Oklahoma City for some type of event, and I wanted to get there, but I only had $20, and it would be enough to get there and back. So, anyways, as long story short, I missed that, and when I missed it, I was so burdened And I remember laying on my couch, facing the back of the couch, and I was crying. I put TD Jakes on my stereo, and I was just listening. And God said, "Come on." And without even thinking twice about it, I knew it was God, and I was like, "Okay, let's do this." But when he said, "Come on," he was leading me to Las Vegas, and that just sounds like contradictory to God, but that's what happened. Um, so what I did was I borrowed $40 to leave my hometown. So I left with a borrowed $40, and on the way to Vegas, I had $180 to get to Vegas, and I made it there. And things were like I would go to sleep at 9 o'clock. Well, everyone else was on the Vegas Strip having fun, partying and stuff. I was asleep by 9, awake by 5 in the morning, and the cold Nevada fall in that weather in the morning, just on my phone. And I didn't have a plan of what I was doing. I just knew that I wanted to create a cannabis-based skincare product. I have the formulation, and I need it, and I know other people need it. And so that was my main goal of everything. I didn't know how to make it happen, or all I did was follow God. That's all I could do. And so he led me on this adventure, this marvelous journey. And I remember being driving into Arizona, and I was passing these mountains on the side of the highway, and God says to me, "You're stepping into your purpose." And I just remember, like, my spirit was just like, yes, like I made it. Like I made it. Most people don't make it to the purpose for this life. I made it. So that was really cool. And
Absolutely. That sounds like it just sounds like, man, that's a moment that most people look to have and they don't get in an entire lifetime, but you got it at such a young age in your life. How put it elaborate a little bit more on how that really made you feel to get that message from God.
I remember it being just a quick, you're walking in your purpose. And it was just, my spirit was elated. My spirit lit up. I felt just such a connection to God, a connection. And he was with me the whole trip. Like he was my passenger. The Holy Spirit was with me. Angels were all around my vehicle. Let me tell you this. I went to Las Vegas on an expired license, expired tags, because I bought my Jeep in May, and the tags were in for September, so they were expired. No insurance, and I'm sorry, I'm not telling anyone to do that. Like, don't do that. But I did because I knew that God had something for me. And I knew because he had something for me, he would not falter in any way. He would not let me down, and he would hold me up and get me to where I needed to be. And that's what happened. I got to Vegas, and none of it was easy. The trip was really exciting, adventures amazing. The Holy Spirit was there with me. None of it was easy, but it's just a great journey. The best time of my entire life was the trip from Oklahoma City to Las Vegas.
And once you got to Vegas, what did and you received that message of your walking in your purpose, what did you do with that message in Vegas?
I just got down to the nitty gritty and just started working. And at that point, like I didn't know I didn't have a blueprint of what to do. So I just started on Instagram, and that's where I met Joni, as a matter of fact. I had commented on one of Damon John's posts on Instagram, and she reached out to me and called me, and we spoke then. And ever since, like, yeah, she took me under her wing, and she said that she made a promise that once she got her products out selling and she would I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Take your
Once she
time.
got
No,
going,
that's
I
fine.
know I need to, like, don't stumble over my words. Once she got going, that she promised to mentor other women, and so I was one of those. So I'm very
So,
fortunate.
so God told you you were walking in your purpose. He pointed you into the direction of Las Vegas. He connected you with someone that now helped you really map out what that purpose was going to be. And that led to you becoming the media marketer that you are today, correct?
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
you started working with Joni. You later, between 2018 into 2019, started One Love Nation 76, and we'll talk about that towards the end. But now let's move into 2019, because after all this greatness, after all this inspiration, after all feeling the hand of God on your life and walking in your purpose, something happened in 2019. What was that?
Um, I was in the best shape of my life, physically, mentally, just very strong. And the sixth week in the gym, I was starting to feel tired when I went to the gym, which wasn't like me because I go beast mode in the gym. But I was really tired, and two two times I had to push myself, and I just didn't know what was going on. Um, so it didn't. I had to quit going to the gym, and this was like the second week of June. By the end of June, I was noticeably bigger. I wasn't myself. I wasn't feeling like myself. I wasn't feeling terrible, but not like myself, and something obviously was wrong.
So what was that? What happened? What did you start thinking? You were noticing these changes that was happening to your body, but did you also notice some things that were changing is in the way you thought about what was going on?
Well, I have a medical background for one, and the only thing that I could come to the conclusion of was there's something inside of my body because I when I it was this was a very sudden onset, um, very sudden. So you got to understand that there was hitting, violent hitting, moving, punching, um, inside my stomach, and I thought it's a pregnancy. I've been pregnant 4 times. I know what pregnancy is. Um, I don't know what else it could have been, and I researched and researched, didn't know, but I was getting bigger and sicker. So yeah.
So you went to the doctor because, of course, you were concerned about what was going on. And what kind of reception did you receive from the doctors?
Well, in New Mexico, I was in the ER. I waited 18 hours. Like this, is so serious it was. 18 hours in the emergency room. The doctor comes in after I'm in the room. That's another 8 hours. He comes in, and I just wanted, what's going on? Run the blood test, whatever. He's like, we can't find anything wrong. And he laughed. And at that point, I'm hooked up to a heart monitor behind me. And when he laughed, my heart rate went up to 155. My blood pressure shot up. And I'm like, something is going on. If it's not a baby, what is it? And he's like, there were no answers. I was sent home. They did say I have a mass on my left ovary. I had a mass on my left ovary that needed to be checked out, and it looked cancerous. The women's clinic in New Mexico called me and said, "Don't ignore this. It could turn into cancer." And I'm sitting in the emergency room trying to find out what's going on with this. And she tells me, I don't. It was horrible. It was like, what is going on?
So
So
what they found at that time had absolutely nothing to do with the pain that you were feeling at that time. You were still trying to figure out, well, what is this that's got me looking like I'm pregnant? What is this pain that has me in such terror right at this moment? And you're saying they couldn't give you any answers and they sent you home. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So
And how did that feel, going home and not having any answers at that point?
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to feel. I just thought, I guess I'm on my own, but I've got to figure this out.
And so
So
now
that's
this issue carried with you not only from one state to but to two states, because you carried this from where you were back to Vegas, right?
We actually left New Mexico. I was in New Mexico. So we left
Okay.
New Mexico and drove to my home state, Oklahoma, where I thought I could get help because I know so many doctors. And so we got here and it was the same thing. And look, they're doing CAT scans and they're doing they said they were doing blood work, but they're not seeing any issue. They're not. So basically to them I just looked big. How I just don't see how they couldn't. But it was doctor after doctor from Lawton, Oklahoma to Oklahoma City, several hospitals. Um, and I would go knowing I'm going to get laughed at, knowing that the people are just going to dismiss me. And I still, like, I had to know. But by October, it was almost lights out because I was at my daughter's, staying with my daughters. And I remember waking up in the mornings and I was so weak, so weak. Um, my stomach was not okay. And like I said, there were times when the pain, it was a violent movement and it was violent. Um, and people weren't listening to me. They weren't observing me. They weren't feeling it. They were just, this girl's crazy. She's fat and she's crazy is what they were thinking. I was sent, I was referred to a weight loss specialist from one ER.
Wow.
They
Wow.
wouldn't put their hand on it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, look.
Yeah, and sitting here listening to this story, and I've listened to it a couple of times, I cannot imagine it from a male perspective. And I've had history with other women who have had ovary issues, women who have specifically had fibroid issues. I haven't heard that come up in your conversation where they might have thought it was that, but to be in that state of having something going on inside of you and not having a clue what it is, but to just be in excruciating pain on a daily basis. How did that mess with the rest of your psyche? How did that mess with you during your day to day activities as a media marketer and as a mom and as a wife as well? And during that time, how did that mess? How did that affect the way you went through your day to day life?
It halted everything I was doing in business to where, like, to I couldn't think to maneuver in business because I was so wrapped up in what I was going through. Like, how am I in such negativity and darkness going to put light out to the world? And I don't believe in showing weakness. I don't believe that's a good trait to have. I believe you show you go through stuff, don't show weakness, get through it. Then once you get through it, then you tell people what you've been through. I just don't believe in garnering that type of attention when you're going through something. It's not good for the mental state.
So
It's not good for the spirit.
you did what a lot of people usually do. You decided to stay strong and stay silent.
The
And
Lord.
yeah, and in this world, there are a lot of people who suffer in silence because maybe what you wanted to do, be strong for the people around you and still, continue to hold yourself up, or the other people who just don't know who to reach out or how to reach out to those people to really get their issues addressed. So
Yeah.
it's a problem. It is something that I'm sure by you sharing your story right now, some people are going to find some answers that's going to help them in their own life. But let's try to fast forward, because this happened the first time you started having these issues, these pains, was around the summer of 2019, right?
Yeah, it was around the 12th of June,
Okay.
2019. Yeah.
And so they
And
couldn't.
I progressively got, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I progressively got my abdomen progressively enlarged.
So
The
between
movements progressively got stronger.
wow. And so in June of 2019, they couldn't give you a diagnosis of what the main issue was, but they did give you that secondary diagnosis that there was something wrong with your ovaries. How
Yeah,
long between June and the time you actually got a clear answer about the original thing you came in for? How long did it take to really get some type of clarity on what was going on?
a little over 4 months.
Wow. So
And
4 months of unknown, 4 months of anxiety, 4 months of suffering in silence, huh?
yeah,
What
it
all
was
did you do during those 4 months to still try to get an answer?
man. What did I do? I actually had a nervous breakdown at one point in August, and that's when I went to my daughter's. I had a nervous breakdown. I think there was so much coming at me. Um, the physical, me dealing with it mentally. Then we left our home and we were staying with my parents, and so I was homeless at that point. Um, just going through it, and I something triggered me and my mom's, and I lost it to where I was driving through Oklahoma City and I didn't know where I was at. I was just trying to get to the highway and I was lost. So it was it was very heavy on me. It was heavy on my mind and my heart. And when I found out, what happened was a gastro doctor, the family doctor, sent me to a gastro doctor. The gastro doctor sent me to a general surgeon who was going to do an open laparotomy. And when I got to him, he said, your pelvic bones, or your liver is almost down to your pelvic bones. And he had never seen anything like it. And I didn't believe him. I was like, this can't be true. But within that week, I got blood tests back from the lab. I was called to the gastro doctor's office. Their office was closed that day, but the receptionist called me in, and the nurse took me in the back. She says to me, all of your liver and kidney functioning tests flagged except two. And on one of the the liver functioning tests, the value was 1.7, and the normal, or the average, the normal rather, was 14.6. And when I took the blood test to my family doctor, he looked at the test and he looked at me and he said, how are you even standing here?
Mm,
But at
mm,
that
mm,
point,
mm.
she was telling me, so I was on the brink of death at that point. And I remember being in the office and I walked out and I said something to the receptionist and I said, I'm dying here. And like I had started crying, like this is who, I knew it. And there was this little black woman that was in the office and it was closed. So I don't know what, but she was sitting there and she heard me, what I said to the receptionist. And when I sat down, she walked over to me and she's like, can I pray for you? And I said,
Mm.
yes. So she prayed for me. Then I went to the emergency room, me and my daughter. We went from emergency room, from doctor to doctor. I didn't stop. But when I was there, someone walked by and saw my daughter through the door. And they came in. He was someone from church, the church we went to. He prayed for me. And then the chaplain, uh, I saw her, I don't remember exactly how, but the same day, the chaplain of the hospital came and prayed with me. There was three people. And all I know is I was dying. So it was rough.
And you mentioned to me that around Christmas of 2019, you were done. You were devastated. You were ready to give up on doctors,
Everything.
yourself, and even God, right?
Yeah.
Talk a
I
little bit
think
about that time.
it was such darkness that I would be praying to God, Lord, please just help me. Like, what's going on? Help, like, am I being cursed? And it was torment I was going through. And I was like, everyone had turned their backs on me. They're like, she left to go make money. She left to go make a name for herself. And look at her. She's back in her hometown. Now she's homeless. Now, and my truck was repoed. Now she don't have a vehicle. I was in such a bad state. And I remember walking across the street over here, going to the library one day. And mind you, it was hard to walk because I was so big here. It was hard to walk. But I was walking and I thought, I just want a car to run over me. I just want a car to hit me. I want it to be over.
Wow.
And like I told you, every day in December, every day, I had such anxiety to where I felt I was going to pass out. I felt like I'm dying. Like it was terrifying. And it was every day because if you can't find a baby in here, what is hitting me? What is violently moving around where people can see it and feel it from the outside? What's going on? Why don't you have answers? No one had answers. They laughed at me, and therefore I gave up. And God, why aren't you helping me? What are you doing? Where are you, God? And like I know his presence. He had been with me. He'd been with me every day in October. He was with me. I was by myself all day, every day, from the moment I woke up till 6 o'clock at night. And then I'd go to bed at 9. So I was alone most of the time he was with me. But in December, it was different. It was like the eye of the storm. And I remember I was in such a bad mental state, spiritually, emotionally. I said, I have to see my kids on Christmas or I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. And I drove down there that day to spend Christmas with them. And I told my daughter, I said, we're not going to talk about this because she was really concerned. She had a really hard time with it. She was going after the doctors like someone needs to help my mom. And she's the only one that I spoke to about how I was feeling when I broke down. I
Right.
remember sitting in the car with her, and I said, if this is not a baby, what is it? And I don't cry. I don't break down and cry. I just don't. But that much torment in my soul and in my being, and she's part of me. And so I felt I could, you know, break down to her. I needed that because
Yeah. It's always hard for when you're the one who's strong for everyone else. It's always hard to find someone who can be strong for you. And thank God that your daughter was there, even though you probably would agree that it probably was a struggle, even at that point, for you not to be your normal person, to the one who's strong for your family. Probably was hard for you to let her in to be strong for you, wasn't it?
I didn't want her to have to struggle. I didn't want her to have to know what I was dealing with. I didn't want that vibe on her. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
she was already concerned. So
yeah,
it was best that I didn't speak about it. But it was so bad. I was so sick, so weak. Um, my body wasn't functioning like it should have been. I didn't even recognize myself. The kidney is not functioning. That put a lot of water weight on me.
hmm,
My liver, I mean, it wasn't the right color. My shape was off. My everything was off. Like I was on the edge, and I didn't understand why God was allowing it to happen.
yeah. You were carrying all this extra weight on your body, but you were also carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. And you said around Christmas time, which is usually when we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, around Christmas time was the time where you were ready to give up on God.
Yeah.
But God, what happened once the clock changed from 2019 into 2020? What happened, and what was your but God moment that changed everything in your life?
On Christmas Day, I felt that the Lord, he was letting me know it's going to be okay, and I felt that he was taking it from me. And I think I got a little impatient with him because say January 5th, it's the same way. I know God spoke that to me because I know his voice, but I was looking the same and feeling the same. And so for the whole month of January, I didn't talk to God. I didn't praise or worship him. It was song, or I didn't even pray. I didn't think about him because I felt, and now that I spoke with you about it, and I didn't know I was angry at God, but I was angry at God. I was angry. Whew, I was angry. And
It's all right. It's all right, Maria. Let it go. Let
I
it
feel
go.
better for being angry at him, but I just didn't understand. And I didn't praise him. I didn't sing for a whole month. I just been through so much. It just felt like all of my everything that I was ripped. I lost everything that was even me. And I feel bad for being angry at God. I didn't realize. But so in February, things were changing and I was looking different and I was feeling different. And I started healing. I started praying. I started healing.
Out of the blue, right?
Out of the blue.
You didn't go to any doctor. Doctors had given you a diagnosis back in December that gave you some more understanding of what was happening, but they didn't give you a solution, right?
No solution, no health care. I was on my own, but God was with me.
And
He
you
was
know
with
what? We're
me.
not going to gloss over that because that's a key point. You, as soon as you got a diagnosis that you could understand, as soon as you got some clarity as what was going wrong with you, what we usually depend on to help us to get well, to help us to get right, our health care suddenly had ran out on you, right?
Right. I had health care for 1 month here in Oklahoma, and I saw 4 doctors through that. That's how I was going. Like someone has to tell me what's wrong. So yeah. And whenever the liver and kidney function test came in the same week as the diagnosis of the liver enlargement, and so yeah.
So you got a diagnosis, you had some idea of what was going on. You knew you not only had one problem that you had to deal with inside of you, you had two problems to deal with.
Yeah.
And it seems like everything at that moment, Christmas time, the birth of our Lord and Savior, every you were at your worst, but you found out just a month later that when you were at your worst, God was actually up to something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was already making a difference in your life inside of your body, right?
Yeah, my body was healing up, and it wasn't like I went from the way I was to normal. It was the way I was, and it was slow. But within the month of February, I got my tummy back. I got myself back. By April, I was 100. I was so good.
So how heavy did you get at your heaviest during this point?
Well, it wasn't like fat weight.
It was water weight, right?
It was water weight, and my liver, my waist grew over 10 inches in
Mm-hmm.
those months. So I was 10 inches larger. So
And,
that
and
was
you
a
know,
lot of,
men, we don't know women's sizes, but when there are women watching, so they can probably relate better. What size were you before you started having these abdominal issues?
I know my waist was 31 inches,
And it got up to 43 during the
41,
course.
41 and a half is what I
41
was.
and a half. And then by February of 2020, you went back down to
Oh, by April, I was back down to about 142, and my muscle mass was strong. I didn't lose any muscle. My body went back to what it was.
back to that 30, that size 31.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
And
this,
then in June, I started having issues. And let me tell you that the anxiety issues never left. Like it was like mental torment, the anxiety. And I've heard people say they have anxiety, which we've all experienced, but the type of anxiety where in my mind I felt like I was going to lose it. And I finally understood when why when people kill themselves, where they're at mentally, because I was there. And going through the healing, my mind was still back there trying to get through what I came through. My mind was back there, and so I had to go through that as well. But then in June, I started having issues with the ovarian mass, thought to be cancer. It was giving me so many issues. I could barely walk in my apartment. I got to the point where I was in bed for almost a month, just in bed because I couldn't walk. And what had happened was the ovary was a corpus luteal uh, mass, which women will know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's related to pregnancy. And so that was 8 centimeters. And because of the liver being so enlarged, my lower intestine, when the doctor went in for surgery, my uh, lower intestine was pushed up under the right side under my ribs, and my appendix was grown on to the mass, the ovarian mass that was grown onto the ovary, and then the structures in that area were grown together. So basically, I was tied up. Like my posture even changed. I was kind of curved
Wow.
over, tied up inside, literally.
You were messed up.
Messed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still.
So,
Go ahead.
but now let's look at you now, because as we look at you now, and you are now 6 months post your last surgery to
Mhm.
correct the second problem. The first problem miraculously worked itself out in
Yeah.
your favor, and now you're just working on that third problem that we always tend to create in our own mind because of the anxiety and the uncertainty and the fear and all those things associated with dealing with some internal problems.
Yeah.
You say that you are where you are today because of the grace of God, right?
Oh yeah.
Talk
Definitely.
about talk about how you, as the person who little over a year and a half ago, December of 2019, was ready to give up on God, and where you stand with God now.
Um, I guess I had given up on God, but I didn't realize it. I don't even like thinking like that I would give up on God. So ask the question again. I'm sorry. That just got me. Like I would never give up on God. Just to know that.
No, no, and you didn't give up on God, but you felt like giving up on God. You felt like God had given up on you in December of
Yeah.
2019, but now you, almost a year later, you have gone back to your pre-abdominal issue shape. You not only found out about an issue that you knew nothing about in another area of your body. You've been able to get that issue corrected. You've been able to do that without having medical insurance for a period of time, without having answers for even a long period of time. And look where you sit right now, little over a year later. If
Yeah.
you were to talk to the person you were back in December of 2019, without the knowledge of knowing you'd be where you are in February of 2020, what would you
Hmm.
have said to that person?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm still at a point now where I'm like, God, why did this happen?
Why did
Why? He let me know it's not for me. I went through it, but it was for a greater purpose to serve others. That's all I know. It's not about me. I went through it because I told God, whatever I have to do to be home with you when I leave this body, whatever I have to do on this earth, I will do it, Lord. I'm yours. Didn't know that was going to happen, but that's it. But I still don't know the reason, and maybe we're going to find out the reason soon. But
maybe you're walking in it now?
I was tell myself I wouldn't quit because I don't have that in me. I don't have give up in me. I just don't. Um, God set me on this path, and I have to finish it. No matter how hard it gets, I have to finish it because it's for Him. It's for others. It's not about me, and I have to remember it's not about me.
So when you say that now, and you know that you didn't give up, and that you now know that God didn't give up on you,
Yeah.
what does it mean to you when we talk about no mess, no message, no test, no testimony? What does that say in your life today?
I mean, I have a lot of testimonies, but nothing that of this caliber, nothing. There were things that came with this: shame, guilt. I told people I was pregnant, and people were, and God was with me, so He let me believe that. And I felt ashamed of it. Like, oh my God, I was wrong. Like, I don't know, it's weird. I think you kind of have to go through it to understand what I mean. But God said, no condemnation, no condemnation. Don't be ashamed. And I know that whenever I get to the whatever is coming out of this, whenever God brings it to me and shows me this is what it was for, I'm going to be so glad I didn't give up.
I love it. I love it. We are hanging out with Maria Montalvo on the Unstoppable Stories show. You guys, you've heard her story. You know, I know it's definitely not anything that I would have ever wanted to go through. But Maria, here's the one thing that I know just from my own personal experiences and from interviewing thousands of people over the years who have unstoppable stories, not similar to yours, but unstoppable in their own right. You know, we grow through what we go through. If it doesn't take us out completely, there's a lesson that we learn, and that lesson allows us to grow as a point of going through it. So, if I were to ask you, how do you feel like you've grown through this process of what you've gone through over the last couple of years? What would you say one area of growth has been for you?
I'm mentally strong in a way that is not even humanly possible. It's just divine that I have this. God has instilled this strength in me and this power. I had the power before, but I didn't really know how to use it. You know what I mean? Like, we're great with the Spirit of God within us. We're great and powerful. And I see that manifesting around me. I myself don't feel that way, my flesh, but I know who I am. And God always spoke that to me. Remember who you are. Before I got sick, He taught me a lot of prophecy that's I wrote down while He was teaching me. And He said, don't forget, or remember who you are. Then He told me who I was by leading me to lessons in the Bible about David, King David. So I've had some really great interactions with the Lord throughout this, and that's a gift in itself.
So that's what you just said sounds like a great message. So how would you say, how would you share that with somebody who may be going through something right now? God forbid that they're going through what you went through, but they're going through their own struggle. They're going through their own storm. They're going through their own mental or spiritual battle right now. What would you say to them about remembering who they are that's going to help them through their own challenge?
In order to know who you are, you have to have a relationship with God through Jesus Christ. It's the only way. And whenever you enter into that relationship with the Lord, you're going to know who you are. There's a power in that. And when you read His word and you have the Spirit of the Lord with you, you read the word and you understand, then you understand. You see what I mean? Then you get it. Yeah, I've read the Bible. Oh, sorry. I've read the Bible several times, all the way, since I was 9 years old. But when God opened the books up, of David and his life and struggles. When he opened those up to me, it was like I was reading a storybook that is totally easy to understand. It was playing in my mind as a movie as I read it. I was in it for 5 hours the first day, and I like missed a deadline because I was into it. So the Spirit had me. So I know all this is divine. All this is for a reason. I know. So just don't know exactly what it is, but I'm in that. I'm maneuvering in that direction, and the Lord goes before me and He clears my path. So I don't know exactly where I'm walking. God lets me know your outcome is glorious. Your outcome, everything's going to be good. But while I'm walking, I don't know what's going to happen from moment to moment, from day to day. I don't know. But when He needs me, He sends me here, and it's very uncomfortable where He sends me. All I know to do is speak what He puts in me to speak.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because when I reached out to you about your story, you were
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, it looks like we might have had an internet surge. So I was asking you, when I reached out to you about your story, were you really ready to start sharing your story on the scale like you're sharing it today?
No, no. I don't think I didn't want to go back to that place
Okay.
because I ran from it. So I pushed all those emotions and everything back, and I don't speak of it. So when you asked me to, I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
gonna have to go through the emotions. I'm gonna have to live through it to pull that back up. So yeah, I
So
wasn't.
God told you in 2018 that you were walking in your purpose. Then
Mm,
in 2019, he did a lot of things that in your he allowed, I won't say he did, he allowed a lot of
mm,
things to happen in your life that would stop people, the strongest of people, from walking in their purpose. And then in
yeah,
2021, he put you in another position to have you walk in your purpose, but it required you to do something else. And that was to step outside of your comfort zone. Talk a little bit
right.
about stepping outside of your comfort zone today and retelling, reliving, and telling this story to people you've never met before.
The story of what
Your
the
your
this
story, yeah. How is it feeling stepping outside of your comfort zone and telling your unstoppable story?
it feels str- strange to be on camera because I'm not used to being on camera, but I feel like I can pull so much out of it, but I need to keep a lot of it back. You know what I mean? Like I don't. It was such a tragic situation, and every oh my gosh, I can't even. We can't put it into words. You could. My whole family couldn't put it into words. Um, it was horrifying. I'm sorry. I'm like going off.
No, no, you're fine.
Just reliving it, it gets my mind towards. It feels like it's tangled. I don't like it. I don't want to be there. I don't want to live in that place.
It feels like your stomach was feeling when you were going through it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But why did you decide to tell your story?
God said it's time.
Yeah.
I've been even Joni. I see. Hi, Joni. So she had asked me to do a live with her, and I was like, oh, crippling anxiety. So being on camera, and I didn't. Which I'm sorry, Joni. Love you. It was just the anxiety, but God let me know this is it. Whatever I went through, all that I went through was for this moment. And so this morning when I got up, I'm like just in the presence of the Lord. I call my mom to pray with me, but I was just like, you know, I need to tell it now because I can help other people. And he let me know that this is it. This is the time. And for him, I'm here. So,
And the one thing I think of throughout this whole situation that you've been through and where you are right now is that we always have to remember. And the one thing I want you guys to get, if you don't get anything else from this show today, is that it never happens in our time. It
yeah,
always happens in his time, whether you're going through something and you don't understand why it's taking so long to figure it out, or why it's taking so long to resolve, or where you're looking for something, yearning for something, wanting something to happen, and it seems to be right there where you can see it in the distance, but it seems to be taking its sweet time coming to you. It's not about your time, it's not about our time, and it's always about his time, because
yeah,
his time is the right time. If you had went to the doctor in 2018 and they'd given you the diagnosis right then and there, and they found the right pills or the right surgery or the right therapy to go correct your problem right then, where would you be right now in 2021?
I'd
Maybe not.
probably be sick. I'd probably be sick from the medicine they gave me,
Yeah,
or not here.
absolutely. But because you've gone through, now you've grown through, and now you're here stepping outside of your comfort zone, telling your
Yeah.
story. People are loving you on in the chat. Tracy Bond from Chicago is saying, "Hallelujah, soldieress, salute." Joni is saying, "So glad you shared, as you will help others." And I believe those who are watching us now or who are going to watch the replay, you're definitely going to touch them. You're going to touch people with your story, Maria, that you may never ever meet. And they may never ever tell you that it was your story that made a difference in their life. But trust and believe. God said you're walking in your purpose. And God pulled you out of your comfort zone.
Right. Right.
This day, your purpose has manifested itself only to grow with each and every passing day. So
That's great.
I want to thank you for sharing your message. I want to thank you for getting a blind phone call out of the blue weeks ago from someone you didn't know, out of the thousands of followers that you have on your Facebook page, and taking the opportunity to do what you did today. How does it feel?
I'm just glad. I'm glad I got to get it out and do for God what I was called to do. Because it was hard on my flesh, boy. I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. I can't look at myself. But I did it for the Lord, and I'm glad. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Yes, we did it.
Wow. We're hanging out with Maria Montalvo. She's a social media marketer, and she's the founder of One Love Nation 76. And you just heard her unstoppable story. But let's get a little bit of information about what you do with One Love Nation 76. And if somebody wants to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you?
Okay, so thank you. And God has blessed me with many gifts. And I love journalism. I've always loved pop culture, things like that. So when I did get sick in June, I decided to just devote my time to helping others succeed and conquering their dreams because I felt like I wasn't going to get that chance. And when I started doing that, I learned a skill set that is invaluable. A lot of people don't have it, but I know the ins and outs of social media like the back of my hand. I know little tricks and I know stuff that a lot of people don't know. And so and that came from helping others, promoting and doing for others whatever I could do creatively, graphics, promotion, marketing, whatever I could do. I learned a lot from helping others, but that's what One Love Nation 76 is about. It's striving for peace, striving for unity, striving for love. And it's not all about the almighty dollar. It's about the people. It's about spirits. It's about, like, let's do this right. let's love one another. Let's help one another. It ain't about money all the time. And I was able to manifest that and literally, like, seriously help people that were in far better financial brackets than me, far more. They were far more elevated in business than me. But I was helping them. But I did learn so much, and now I have the skill set that I don't know. I don't know who can hold a candle to the things that I know, the things that God has gifted me to do. And I'm just, I'm just a humble little old me. If you saw me on the street, you would never know. But because I went and helped people, and God was there with me, showing me what to do and how to, maneuver through everything. And so that's what that's just what it is. Serving others with just one love nation, one love, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, one love nation. We are his, and we're at the point in time where there's a great separation going on between God's people and those that aren't his. And this is the time that one love nation 76, what he began in me, which seems off the wall because it's cannabis is interwoven into what I do as well. I'm a cannabis blogger as well. Doesn't sound like God would do that, but God did it. God
Wow.
did. So
So, if people want to get in contact with you, if they want to learn more about your story, if they want to learn more about the One Love Nation 76 movement, how's the
mhm.
best way for them to reach out to you?
IG at One Love Nation 76, Facebook, Maria Montalvo, One Love Nation. It's under my name. I'm on Two Cannababes on Facebook, which is a cannabis blogging site. In Full Bloom, which is it signifies my cannabis skincare that I'm going to come out with. It's coming, y'all. It's coming. And One Love Nation, of course, on Facebook. One Love Nation 76, rather, on Facebook. And then I have a few accounts on IG, and they're all interlinked. So just yeah.
Wow, that is fantastic. So, you guys, you can reach out to her on her IG page at One Love Nation 76, or you can reach out to her on Facebook at One Love Nation 76. You can get information about what she does as a cannabis blogger. You can get information about what she does as a media marketer, and you can get more information about future events that she's going to be doing as she continues to spread the Father, the love, and the Holy Spirit. One
That's
love.
for One Love. I drew this up, and people think it means like the cannabis world kind of insignia, but what it is, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and us. That's one love. Let's be a one love nation. Let's get the love of Christ out and spread it. Let's just be full of the Spirit in this world right now. That's what we need so bad. We need it, guys. One love, one love.
I love it. I love it. All right. So, unfortunately, our time is up, but we appreciate everyone who tuned in to us live. We appreciate everyone who's going to be watching the replay. You can still add your comments if you want to ask Maria questions, or if you just want to show her some love in the comments, you can do that even in the replay. So, Maria, we thank you so much for stepping outside of your comfort zone and continuing to walk in your purpose, spreading that one love across nations. We appreciate
Yes.
you. And like I said earlier, thank God you don't look like what you've been through, and it's only going to continue to get greater later for you and your movement. Would you come back on in sometime in the future and just update us on what you're doing?
I would love to. I'm actually starting a health journey right now, getting my body back in shape, hitting the gym again, and doing it big. I'm gonna like reintroduce myself to this world by my birthday, June 10th. God's got something big coming. He's got something big coming.
Wow. Well, we're going to be looking out for it come 2021, the months ahead. Great things. So make sure you continue to follow Maria Montova on all of her social media sites. Reach out to her, send her some love. Thank her for telling her story like she did today. And again, I appreciate you for stepping outside of your comfort zone. And that's what we do here on the Unstoppable Story Show. We take ordinary people and let them share their unstoppable stories, because we recognize that if an ordinary person like Maria or like myself, we can go through trials and tribulations and come out stronger on the other side, then maybe, just maybe, you listening to this story right now, maybe you'll realize that you can too. Hey
Yes.
guys, please consider liking, sharing, and commenting on the show, but also consider being a sponsor or donating to our cause so that we can continue to bring quality programming and these unstoppable stories to the airwaves. You can donate to us through Cash App. That's Cash App sign Terrence Leftridge, that's my name. Or you can reach out to us via Zelle at the number that you see going across the bottom of the screen. But recognize that you may be going through some things that you don't have a clue of why it's happening. You don't understand why it's happening. And more importantly, you don't understand why it's happening to you. Whenever you're in those moments, remember that you got to continue to walk in your purpose. And you've got to understand that even at your worst, God is up to something. So continue to push through and continue to be unstoppable. That's our time. Thank you guys for watching us here on the Unstoppable Story Show. Hey, you may want to be a guest on the Unstoppable Story Show and share your unstoppable story. You can reach us at our website, unstoppablecoaching.com, or you can send me an email at tleffridge@unstoppablecoaching.com and share your unstoppable story. And who knows, you may be the next guest on the Unstoppable Story Show, where we talk to ordinary people with unstoppable stories. And wherever you are in the world today, you know what I say. Don't just make it a great day. Share your unstoppable story like Maria did today and make it an unstoppable day. Take care.